Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the first meeting of 2018. I'd like to ask everybody in the audience that can to stand as we start every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or amendments? Hearing none, do we have anybody sign up for citizen participation? As I call your name, if you would come to the podium, and if you keep your comments to 3 or 4 minutes, I'd appreciate it. First speaker is Fiona Moody. Welcome, ma'am.
Section 616 of the Bowie City Code covers challengers and watchers. Part A reads as follows. Authorized. Each candidate or political committee shall have the right to designate a registered voter as a challenger and watcher at each place of registration and election. Such persons shall be assigned to such positions near the judges inside the registration or polling room as to enable them to see each person as he offers to register or vote. The challengers and watchers shall be protected in their discharge of their duty by the judges and the police. In Article 1, the city defines campaign committee as any combination of 2 or more persons appointed by a candidate or any other person or formed in any other manner which assists or attempts to assist in any manner the promotion of the success or defeat of any candidate, charter amendment, principle, or proposition submitted to a vote at any municipal election. Why then did the city of Bowie purposely prevent challengers and watchers at the December 19th special recall election? The right to challenge and watch is outlined not only within the city code, but Maryland state election law, which supersedes that of the city. Yet, despite section 616, part A of the Bowie City Code reading, challengers and watchers shall be protected in the discharge of their duty by the judges and the police, and there being no section within the code demanding registration of such challengers and watchers, upon my attempt to present my challenger certificates, yes, certificates plural from the state and the city, so that I may observe the voting process, the city attorney and the city board of elections called the police on me, and despite reading through the entirety of the applicable code with officers Gibson and Rose, they threatened my arrest for, and I quote, some type of trespassing. They told me that they did not care what the city code said, that they were under directive from the city of Bowie to have me removed and arrested for trespassing. Free and open elections are a basic tenet of democracy. On December 19th, the city of Bowie closed the doors to challengers and watchers and threatened absurd and unjust arrests of citizens attempting to carry out what is guaranteed to them, not only in the city code, but in the election law of the state of Maryland. The city has refused to provide us with an answer as to why my arrest was threatened. It is time that our city elections are managed independently and an election board that is accountable only to the citizens of Bowie is formed. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the people I have signed up to speak, so I appreciate that. Mr. City Manager, you have a comment?
Well, sir, we followed the rules and regulations as they were set forth, and with the proper guidance from our city attorney in an effort to ensure that the volunteers who were doing a service for us by conducting this election were not harassed or bothered in any way. And it's as simple as that.
Okay.
I'm jumping in right here and right now. I
beg your pardon?
I'm jumping in on this. I need a comment needs to be made there. I was going to be nice about this, but I'm not going to be nice after those comments just now. For 7.5 hours.
Mr. Esteve, this is not a tavern. If you want to speak, it has to be, for permission to speak.
May I have permission to speak, Mr. Mayor?
What is your point?
May I have permission
Go.
to speak? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving me permission to speak. For 7.5 hours on Election Day, I emailed back and forth with the city manager, the city attorney, and the city clerk, trying to get clarification on exactly why poll watchers were not being allowed in the polling places on Election Day. For 7.5 hours of emailing back and forth, I could not get a clear answer. Now, originally, I was going to dismiss it as, well, maybe just the rules aren't clear. It's the first time we've done special election, so, We wrote rules for a hypothetical situation, now it's a real situation. But for 7.5 hours, I couldn't get a clear answer from the 3 people who are supposed to be able to answer these questions. And I got conflicting information throughout the day. So, no, I'm sorry. That's just not good enough, all right? Election watching is a basic function of every democracy. The ways our rules are written, it is not supposed to be this hard. Not supposed to be this hard at all. So, council needs to look at making the rules more clear, but this hardline attitude about every little nitpicky thing, you know, with poll watching and petitions and everything, it's got to stop. It's got to stop, okay? Because our residents, frankly, don't trust us and are very tired with all of us. One of my colleagues is absent tonight because of that. So I think that we need to take the results of last year's recall very seriously and double down on our commitment to listen to our residents and make their lives and their participation in the process easier, not harder. Thank you.
If there's no objection, I'd ask council to, or ask city manager and council to produce some kind of a response to us at some later date.
Mr. Mayor, I will not. As I advised Mr. Estev during that conversation, those conversations were privileged. And my advice to him was, in fact, that he should not be interfering in that process because he was doing that as an individual citizen of the council of the city of Bowie, and that my role is to advise the city government, and I had done that.
Exactly.
Moreover, I will tell you that none of the communications that I had were inconsistent, that my advice was consistent from beginning to finish, and that I answered all of the questions that were asked of me until I believed that I could no longer do that.
Ms. Alyssa Levin, you were asked to clarify in plain language why the city of Bowie, based on our rules, were preventing poll watchers from doing their job on Election Day. Can you give me a clear answer here and now?
In my view, they were doing their jobs, as I explained to you, and my last name is Levan. I stand by the things that I said in those emails and that by their privilege, and I won't breach it.
Can you explain to us now, though, why those poll watchers weren't allowed in? You have serious allegations being levied against you.
I don't have
All right,
serious
wait a
allegations
minute.
being levied
This
against
is
me,
not
and no,
the
I
forum.
won't respond
Wait a
if
minute,
this is true.
Council, this is not the forum to resolve this tonight. What I would like you to do, what I would like to ask staff and council to do is to take the complaint that you heard tonight and give us a response, within a reasonable amount of time, so we can have a discussion at some point.
This is how you run your city? Do you just have people running with their mouths?
No. Item next. Council, you have consent agenda items A through E. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Marcos. Any question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Wait a minute, sorry, I skipped one. We got the presentation of the board. I'm sorry. We just voted on the consent agenda. The board is going to make a presentation now about the things. Madam Chair? Would you let the board make their report, please? Madam Chair.
Good evening. I'm Yolanda Jones, and I'm the chair of the Bowie Board of Elections. A memorandum that has been submitted to council reads as follows. It's dated December 28th, 2017, and the subject is the 2017 Special Recall Election Results. We, the undersigned Board of Supervisors of Elections, do hereby certify that the attached is a true and actual account of the District 2 Special Recall Election in the city of Bowie, Maryland, held on Tuesday, December 19th, 2017. We therefore declare the following shall be the official results of this election. Do you vote to recall from her city elective office District 2 Council Member Diane Polangan? No, and the number of cast votes for no was 497. Yes, and the number of cast votes for yes was 1,118. A total of 1,546 cast their votes at the polls, and 69 persons voted absentee, making a total of 1,615 voters casting votes in the December 19, 2017 City of Bowie special recall election. There are currently 10,532 District 2 voters registered on the county and city books, which makes a total of 15.33% of the registered voters casting their votes in the 2017 special recall election. This memo is signed by 5 of the 6 board members, myself, Yolanda Jones, Chairman, Louis Dorsanio, Camille M. Gaines, Susan Curley, and Albert Curley. Thank you.
All right, before you, so the board is certified that the results as we have them. Have you scheduled a new election?
Not yet.
Do we have, what is the time frame on the new election?
90 days, is that right?
It's not less than 60 days, nor more than 90 days.
Okay. And when might we get a date for that?
We are expected probably by the end of this week to announce a date. We're just finalizing a couple of items that need to get finalized before we could announce a date.
Okay. Any questions of the board? Is there
I
a
have a
motion?
quick question. On the day of the election, poll watchers weren't allowed in, and at one point it was suggested that you were the final authority on that subject. Do you have any knowledge as to why poll watchers weren't allowed in on election day?
The only reason why I said that poll watchers weren't allowed, and this is also based on what Ms. Moody read, where it says that something about a candidate. This was not an election that had a candidate. Therefore, no one had registered with the city office saying that they were a poll watcher. Now, for this upcoming election, obviously we'll have candidates, and therefore poll watchers are more than welcome as long as they are certified. That's not an issue. But for this one, there wasn't a candidate. This was just a yes or no recall question.
As head of the Board of Elections, are you able to point to in city code where it says there must be a candidate involved for there to be poll watchers?
She read it.
I
read it.
I didn't hear anything about poll watchers or registering with the city.
I can only tell you,
Okay. Is it
What was
possible for the Board
advised
of
to me?
Elections to get back to us on a clear answer and point to us where in city code poll watchers
that
would
it
have been
says
prevented?
that, sure, I can
Yes.
look that up
I'd
and we can
appreciate
get back
that.
to you. But the whole thing is there was no candidate, and typically
I'd
there
like to
is.
see
And just remember too,
where
this
in
is
city
not,
code.
from my understanding, I've been on the board for almost 10 years now. This hasn't happened before, so this was not a perfect situation. This was something that, you know, that maybe our rules don't specifically say. I would have to go back and look, but I don't want you to think by any means we were trying to hurt anyone's feelings. That's not what we were here for. All we were trying to do is give our city what they want. They wanted a recall election, and that's what we did to the best of our ability.
I'm less concerned with my residents' feelings than I am with their rights. First and second, if it is a rule clarifying issue, then we'll work with you on that. for
Okay.
sure. But I need to see where in the rules was it said that they couldn't be there, because we need to clarify
Sure.
moving forward. And I appreciate your help tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Heard other questions, motion to accept the board's report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move to accept the board's the board's report for the recall.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Marcos. Is there any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Unanimous. Okay, at this point then, District Seat 2 is vacant. Thank you, and thank you, people, for doing that.
Thank you all.
I'm sorry, I must have, Mr. City Manager, I misread my thing here. Did you have a manager's report?
No, sir. All I want to say is that our departments are working hard on developing a proposed budget for 2019, and that you might know that this is the last meeting for Mr. Fitzwater, and his farewell reception is going to be on Friday.
I said no.
Okay.
That's it, sir.
All right, item next, annexation, resolution 62-17, city staff.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Joe Minert, the City of Bowie Planning Director. I'm here to present this item to you. This is a public hearing item for Resolution R6217, and this resolution proposes the annexation of the proposed Bowie Ice Arena site on Church Road, which is parcel 78 on tax map 54, as well as a portion of the CSX Railroad property, parcel 22, and approximately 8,000 feet of the US Route 50 right-of-way. And so this area is approximately 73 acres in size. The public hearing was introduced and advertised on November 6th, and the hearing has been properly advertised through the newspaper advertisements through 4 consecutive weeks of advertising, and additional notices placed throughout the community. We are recommending tonight that council approve Resolution R6217 for the purpose of annexing the properties that I mentioned. This will allow the city to provide police service to the future Bowie Ice Arena site, and also to allow for the property to be reviewed and inspected under the city's stormwater management ordinance. And so those are the purposes of annexation, and with that, that concludes the staff presentation. I did want to mention one thing, Mayor, that we received a public input for tonight's hearing, just dated today, a letter from County Council member Derek Leon Davis, who represents District 6 on the County Council in which this area is located. He voiced some concerns in his letter about the annexation of the property. He was asking if the council may want to reconsider the resolution of annexation for the purposes of allowing additional public input. And so that is in the record for this evening's hearing.
We have that to file.
That concludes the staff presentation.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anybody signed up to speak? Thank you, ma'am. Michelle Jackson? Yes. Welcome, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. I have to apologize. I left my testimony at home. Luckily, I have it on my phone.
The world of technology.
So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Michelle Jackson, and I'm a Fairwood resident. This resolution proposes to annex over 73 acres. The deed for the parcel purchased from Maryland National Capital Park and Planning designated for the ice arena is for 20 acres. Why are you proposing and annexing an additional 53 acres? That's a pretty sizable parcel. Well, I understand the requirement for land that is annexed to be contiguous and adjoining. Such a sizable parcel is not required to meet that threshold. We're concerned. What are your plans for that land? It directly abuts the Fairwood community, and therefore it's very important for the residents of Fairwood to understand what the future plans are for this land, especially considering there's only one ingress and egress, which is Fairwood Vista Park Drive, included in the Fairwood Master Plan for this area. This entire project, including the proposed annexation, seems very hasty and not very transparent. As many of you are aware, Fairwood residents voiced concerns at the stakeholders meeting that was held just last month regarding traffic and noise relative to the proposed ice arena. I just want to ensure that this proposed annexation is not simply a subterfuge to increase the tax base for the city of Bowie. And I guess I want to know, when will our concerns and questions be addressed?
I'm sorry?
When will our concerns and questions be addressed?
Well, we're
That's my
going
last
to
statement.
decide what to do on annexing the property. The project is going forward.
I understand, but we had a number of concerns that were raised and addressed, and to date, we've not had any responses to them. We didn't have any responses at the stakeholders meeting either. So maybe something that doesn't have to be here tonight, but at some point, our concerns should be addressed.
Well, if you'll leave your name with the city clerk, I will try to
I'm
compile
sorry,
a pack.
say it again?
If you will leave your name with the city manager of there. There have been a number of public hearings about this project going back to 2015 or 16.
Well, we weren't made aware of them. Representatives came to our HOA meeting in, I think it was maybe
Okay.
November.
All right. Well, the purpose of the meeting tonight is not to debate the construction of the project.
No, it
It's
was
whether or not we're going
annexation.
to annex the land that
Right,
we've already
that's what I
purchased for this
spoke to,
purpose.
If you listened initially,
Okay.
I talked to the annexation for the most part here.
Yes. Well, the
And
question is
why
whether.
so much? Why so much land? Why 53 additional acres beyond the 20 required for the site?
Well, I don't have that.
Okay.
The purpose was to join two pieces in order to make this property work.
Well, only 20 acres was presented on the plans as being sufficient for the ice arena. So I guess 53 acres is a lot of additional acres.
We
I don't want
understand.
to hold up too much time here, so if my questions or concerns can be answered at another time, that's fine, but
I will be glad to see that you get the data that we've used in the past to put this package together. But this is a project that's been going on for 3 years, so
okay,
it's not new.
again, we didn't know, in fact, the
Okay, well,
Fairwood community did not know
I
that.
can't change history.
Pardon me?
I cannot change history, but we've done this project.
No.
Okay, but I
Mr.
thank you,
Mayor.
I thank you for your
Voice.
comments.
Annexation has not been discussed up until just recently. We just recently got the land.
Good.
That's a good point.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just purchased the land.
Thank you, ma'am.
Last spring. All righty, so does that mean Spice?
That's all the people I have, if you want to leave your name, we'll.
Oh, certainly.
Mr. Mayor, if she submit her list of questions, we'll answer them. But we did answer questions at the stakeholders meeting. But one of the problems, that, some of our answers weren't accepted. So we don't want to change the facts. The questions were answered, and we asked, but they didn't agree with them. But we'll be happy to talk about them again.
Okay. Any questions of staff? All right, let me just, I just received the memo from Councilmember Davis, and his letter suggests that we ought not to be able to do this. He suggested there's been a lack of transparency and a lack of outreach. And I tell you, I'm a little concerned and perhaps a little disappointed that I get a letter, 10 minutes before the meeting that makes that allegation. Wait a minute a second. I understand this property was purchased from the county for this purpose. This project has been publicly discussed in numerous events here over the last 3 years. I just don't accept the fact that, or the suggestion that we've been less than transparent in this process. This thing has gone forward a couple of times. And as you heard tonight, one of the concerns we have is this would be an operating city's facility that will either be in the city or it won't be. If it's in the city, we can provide our own public safety and our own stormwater system for this thing. So it would be my suggestion that we move forward.
Mr.
Questions
Mayor,
of staff?
I have a quick question about the letter that we received from Mr. Leon Davis. Was it not also Councilman Davis who at the last minute prevented Bowie from being able to annex the Melvin Motors property? Yep. Just after it was delayed. Originally, Melvin Motors they retired.
Mr. Davis, as I recall, suggested that he would be not favorably disposed to have Bowie in his district, when we were discussing the Lytle thing. And although Lytle wanted to come into Bowie, they were at the time pursuing 6 or 8 other sites in the county, and we suggested that it probably would not be in their best interest to pick a fight with the county over this particular site, so we stepped back from that. But yes, it's the same.
I wanted to clarify, because I remember Lytle came here and gave us a nice presentation. They were going to fill the space that Melvin Motors used to occupy after the owners of Melvin Motors retired and sold. And I remember distinctly Mr. Davis making some comment about how, well, he doesn't want Bowie to be in his district at all. And so he seems to have a history, if I'm not mistaken, of opposing annexations for odd reasons.
Well, I can't speak to his motives, I don't know.
No, neither can I, sir.
Dr. Trout?
Just for the record and for information, Cullerton Station and also the Hamptons at Woodmore are in his district. They're in District 6. So he has part of Bowie in his district, just providing information on that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, you have before you a request to annex a property we purchased for the purpose of building a recreational facility. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to move to annex this property into the city of Bowie for construction of our Bowie Ice Arena.
Second by Mr. Marcos. Any question on the motion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. You were yes?
He's a yes.
Yeah, okay, unanimous. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Already?
Yeah, there's only 2 items on the agenda.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Move to
Sorry
adjourn,
about that.
it's fine.
I lost my thought. I'd like to move to adjourn. Second by Ms. Glass.
Ms. Glass, okay, any question on the motion?
I have one quick question on the motion.
Okay.
I really, the election's over, I really want an answer, Ms. Levan, on the question of the poll watchers. I don't know why it's been so hard to get a clear answer. I just want an answer, that's all. Just want a clear answer.
Let me suggest to
That's
you,
all.
we will get you an answer.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. All in favor of your motion to adjourn? Unanimous. Good night,
United.
folks.
Good night.